Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. And today I was hoping to be able to, well, give you a preview video of a brand new premium ship that's very nice, and which I'm feeling very patriotic about. And I might have hinted at in yesterday's episode of Mingles with Jingles. Unfortunately, there's been a bit of a hiccup. Wargaming are not yet ready to release information about this ship, and it's been delayed by about 4 or 5 days or so. So it was a bit of a problem for me because I already have the video ready to go. And so I have to do an emergency video for today at very short notice, and this is it. So in desperation, I headed over to my email folder and started looking through the games that you guys have sent in recently, and some amazing World of Tanks games, one of which will be coming up tomorrow. And then I stumbled across this. It's Monk 2 in the ever-reliable Japanese Tier 5 destroyer, the Minakaze. I do like destroyer replays. I appreciate that not everybody really finds World of Warships their particular cup of tea. They're certainly, well, the action isn't quite as fast-paced as you can expect from a game of World of Tanks, and that's why I prefer watching destroyer replays to just about any other kind of game, although with the possible exception of a well-played fast cruiser game. But you're guaranteed some fun when you're watching somebody doing their thing in a destroyer. Particularly the American destroyers, because, well, you know, they're gunboats. Not usually so much in the Japanese. In the Japanese, with their very good stealth rating and their longer ranged torpedoes, they tend to be the master of the stealth ambush style attack. And you certainly get some of that in this replay, but you also get some very hair-raising, seat-of-the-pants close range action as well. This battle also turns a couple of preconceptions on its head with regards to the enemy Congo-class battleship player, who is not your typical, well, stereotypical big dumb stupid battleship player sailing in straight lines when there are known enemy destroyers in the location. In fact, I think one of the cruisers. Anyway, too many spoilers. Just watch and be entertained. So, it's a Tier 5 game. Oh, also, one thing to bear in mind, try not to pay too much attention throughout the course of this battle to which target Monk is locked onto. It's a known bug with the World of Warships replay system. You'll often see him firing a spread of torpedoes that is absolutely nowhere near the aim indicator. That's quite simply because he's actually locked onto a target, not the target that the game is indicating. It's a known bug with the replay system. Now that Gremiashki has made a big mistake. He's trying to get out of there by dropping smoke, but he is at far too close range. The Gremiashki is a gunboat. It's got decent torpedoes. They have an 8-kilometer range, but when you're close enough to launch the torpedoes, you're already close enough to be detected. The guns on that thing, on the other hand, 130mm naval guns, exactly the same as the 130mm gun on everybody's favourite box tank in World of Tanks, the SU-100Y. Very good guns. Very slow turret rotation speed, however, so best used at long range, not 5 kilometers away from a whole bunch of cruisers and battleships. Speaking of cruisers, enemy Furious Taco there coming through the Narrows. He would definitely have benefited from watching a couple of John Wayne movies, and he might not have fallen for an old gag like this. Look at that. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, that did not end too well for him at all. What do you mean, John Wayne movies? Well, you know, when you see one of the Red Indians come riding down the canyon firing his guns, and everybody chases after him, straight into an ambush. He went chasing after the Gremiashki, straight into Monk's torpedoes. Watch a couple of westerns, you might not fall for an old trick like that. Monk, of course, using tactics there that are more typically used, as he's lining up on this second enemy cruiser, more typically used by American destroyers because of the relatively short torpedo range. You often see Clemsons, Nicholases, and Farragut's employing those sort of tactics, hiding around the corner of an island, in the cover of smoke, and just waiting for big dumb enemy ships to come sailing around the corner, blitzing them at short range, and then getting the hell out of there. But just because American destroyers tend to have to plan their torpedo attacks like that, doesn't mean Japanese destroyers can't do it as well. And, there's his second kill. What is it with the cruisers in this game? They're making the battleships look good. Anyway, who's next? He's not going to do it again, surely. Surely this guy is going to turn. Well, that remains to be seen, doesn't it? It's not like he's able to claim he didn't know Monk was there. Monk is quite clearly detected. Or perhaps he didn't know Monk was there. But then again, that's just going to be his fault for not paying attention to the minimap. And, yep, kill number 3, and another devastating strike. So, 7 torpedo hits, 3 kills. This is already, by the way, the best game that Monk has ever played in the Minakaze. I mean, he's already made a profit, regardless of the outcome of this match. But still plenty of enemy ships left to sink, so starts checking out the map, looking at the position of the various spotted enemy ships, checking out the position of aircraft which could spot him and give his position away, starts planning on who to make his next victim. Now those aircraft are a good old distance away, there is no danger that he's going to be detected by them. What do we have? There's New York. Squadron of enemy dive bombers up there, getting a little bit close. And there's the Congo. Now that Congo player has got some skills. He's not your stereotypical big dumb battleship driver. Those dive bombers. Oh, spotter aircraft. Probably from the Congo, up there in the top left. And Monk has been detected. Now at this point you'll note he's got his anti-aircraft guns turned off. It's just one spotter aircraft. He wouldn't really lose anything. He's already shot one aircraft down in this match, and he wouldn't really lose anything by blazing away at that spotter aircraft, which is giving his position away to that New York and that Congo. Now it looks like he's going for the Congo, as the Congo's closer, less chance of avoiding his torpedoes. And check out those dive bombers over to the right, completely ignoring him, by the way, while detected. Enemy carrier player obviously got better things to do than sink a very, very dangerous Tier 5 Japanese destroyer. He lost sight of the Congo. He's still detected now by the New York. He's in visual range of the New York. The New York, however, is ignoring him. But that Congo is not. There it is. He was waiting for him to come around the corner. Scores some hits. He's in secondary gun battery range of the Congo, gets the torpedoes away, turns around and hightails it out of there. Engine boost activated. Smoke screen deployed. Let's get the hell out of Dodge. The Congo, of course, fully aware that if there's a Minakaze at that kind of range, there are going to be torpedoes in the water, and every single one of those torpedoes is going to miss because the Congo has mastered the extremely complicated advanced naval tactic of moving the rudder from left to right every now and then when there are enemy destroyers around, so every single one of those torpedoes misses. So well done to the Congo driver there for displaying some elite mad pro battleship driving skills. Now, Monk, anxious to prove that the Congo only got lucky, thinks, doesn't do it, but he thinks about nosing around the concealment provided by the side of this island, but the Congo is far too close. He will be detected. You can see he wants to do it, but he very, very wisely decides, actually, no, let's not do that. That would be very, very silly. There are all kinds of ships that are in gun range, and if he were to get detected again, there's a very good chance that he wouldn't survive this. So instead, he reverses, going full astern, turning to port, and puts some torpedoes in the water against that Königsberg instead. The Königsberg doesn't have a lot of health left, and he's already under fire from one of the battleships on Monk's team, and while the torpedoes are in the water, one of those battleships scores a good solid hit on him, leaving Monk's torpedoes with nothing to hit. And there we go, the Königsberg's down. So, 4 enemy ships left, 1 destroyer, which we haven't actually seen yet, those 2 battleships, the New York and the Congo, and the enemy aircraft carrier. Monk, he's determined to get that Congo. Friendly Nicholas up ahead, launching torpedo attacks. That Nicholas not quite as well concealed in his smokescreen as he thinks he is. He's managed to get some torpedoes away, and he does score a couple of hits on this Congo, but the Congo nails him with this salvo. Just as Monk comes around the side of the island, immediately gets detected because he's well inside detection range of the Congo, fires off his own torpedoes, immediately turns around and starts motoring back into the concealment provided by that island. Nicholas did actually manage to hit the Congo with 2 of the torpedoes that he fired. The Congo, of course, steaming straight towards him, not making it easy for him at all. From here, however, broadside on, you would expect, under normal circumstances, that Monk would score a couple of hits, but that Congo driver is nobody's fool, and in fact he's got a very, very nasty surprise waiting for Monk. Oops, Spoiler alert. Suffice to say, that Congo is fully aware that if there's a Minakaze detected less than 7 kilometers away off your port beam, there are going to be torpedoes in the water, and so he's already turned, and every single one of those torpedoes has once again missed. Monk, back to his initial starting position, lurking around the side of this island, waiting for his tubes to reload, and looking for victims. Did I mention that that Congo had a nasty surprise for Monk? Monk thinks the Congo is steaming in the other direction, starts closing in on the New York.
It's a trap!
At a range of 4 kilometers, the Congo opens up with its 14-inch gun batteries in a devastating broadside that takes almost all of Monk's health off and disables one of his torpedo launchers. Monk then sails into secondary gun battery range, and they start ripping him up as well, but Monk does not panic. He doesn't just dump all of his torpedoes into the water and hope for the best, because this Congo has already demonstrated that he knows how to avoid a torpedo in two. Instead, he circles around to the front, where all of those secondary gun batteries in the sides aren't going to be able to light him up. Holds his fire until he's at point blank range, and there is no way the Congo is going to be able to avoid these, and blows him right out of the water.
Dodge this.
Talk about cool under pressure or what? I mean, that was impressive. And oh look, there's the enemy destroyer. It's a Kamikaze R. Monk pops some torpedoes in the water against him, but, well, it's a destroyer. You're extremely unlikely to hit a destroyer at this kind of range with torpedoes unless they're stationary. That destroyer's not moving. Hang on a minute, that's the enemy spawn, isn't it? Has that guy been sitting there this entire match? Is he AFK? Oh well. Enemy carrier detected. Enemy destroyer detected. He's actually hit this guy. Yep, he's sitting there completely AFK, which is going to make this two of the easiest kills anybody ever got. Hang on a minute. Did he just pop smoke? He must have. This guy is not actually AFK. Monk's closing in on the carrier, getting ready to launch some torpedoes from this side. That Kamikaze R has only... Look at that. Now, for the first time in the game, he actually fires up his engines and starts doing something. He's been sitting there. There go his torpedoes. This scumbag has been sitting there the entire match just watching his team lose, and only starts to move once he's under threat of attack. So, dying to that kind of scumbag is a bit of a disappointment, but wait for it. Watch the torpedoes that he fired. Watch this. There we go. He's just sunk his own carrier. Now that is justice. Enemy carrier, understandably, a little bit upset with this destroyer. He actually managed to avoid all of Monk's torpedoes, only to get team killed by a guy who just sat there watching his team die the entire match and only bothered moving his arse once his own precious ship started coming under attack. In fact, the only thing that guy manages to hit with a torpedo during the entire course of this match is, well, the wreck of Monk's ship that had already been knocked out by gunfire, and his own aircraft carrier. And then his ticket gets punched, and justice is done. Bit of a shame for Monk too, because, well, if it wasn't for that scumbag in the Kamikaze R, he would have gotten a Kraken Unleashed medal there, no question about it. He would have killed that carrier. But still, a reasonably good clutch of medals, and I'm sure he's not going to be disappointed with 112,000 damage done with his 11 torpedo hits in that match. Thank you, Monk 2, for sending that replay in. It amused me greatly, particularly the game of cat and mouse in the final duel with the Congo there, and props to the Congo driver as well, Motti82, who definitely knows a thing or two about dodging torpedoes, and could teach the cruisers on his team a thing or two. Hope you enjoyed today's video, folks. Emergency release though it may be. And as always, take care, have fun playing whatever you're playing, and I'll catch you next time.